So firstly, I would like to know about the transformation journey Bata has undergone. Basically, it is a legacy footwear brand, and now it's being more youth focused and lifestyle focused. I want to know, how are you balancing Bata's heritage with the current need to stay culturally relevant for the Gen Z and younger consumers today?
Sure. So first, let me rephrase your, line. I would say that Bata is India's most trusted brand, right? I mean, legacy has got two aspects, right? I mean, one is time, but what comes along with time is also trust, and that is what this brand is. Now, coming to your core question as to how we are ensuring that the brand is kind of kept relevant. I think that is one place where we are ensuring that uh, we bring out the fact that Bata is up to date with times, the fact that it is relevant for consumers' thinking and need today through our style, versatility, and comfort, which our products provide at a great and affordable price, right? Something that is core at Bata's brand philosophy. Yeah.
So from a business point of view, how have this image shift being, important? How important was it to drive new consumers, and how has it worked out?
Well, for all brands to stay relevant and young, it is important that we value our existing consumers. We nurture them, we nurture that relationship, and we maximize the total lifetime value of the customers. But at the same time, it is also very important for the brands to, ensure that we recruit more and more younger consumers in the funnel who become part of the brand journey. And I would be happy to tell you that our average age of consumers is around 32 years, and we have been able to ensure that it keeps on becoming younger year by year.
Okay. So if you come to the recent campaigns, that was Make Your Way and also the Everyday Essential campaign with Tapsi Pannu, I would want to know, what was the consumer insight behind it? Why did you think this kind of a campaign is necessary now? And with that, if you can tell me, how did you come upon with the choice of Tapsi Pannu and Sanjana, and why did you think they would fit right in the campaigns?
Right. So I think largely your question has got two parts. One is key insight that we are leveraging right now. I think there are two, three insights that has gone into this campaign, right? Of course, from a season perspective, it is summertime. Antara, you are based out of Calcutta?
I used to live in Calcutta. Now I am in Mumbai.
In Mumbai. So Mumbai is still comparatively cooler, but it's also hot. And you know how the North India has been, getting cooked. Now, uh, from consumers' point of view, summer is the time where typically we would change our wardrobes, right, and largely apparel, right. But today's day and age, consumers are actually changing their footwear as well, right. So there are those cool vibes you want your open footwear, etc., to kind of come out. So that's one insight that we are kind of leveraging in this campaign. The second insight that we are kind of leveraging is the fact that gone are the days where people would relate to a celeb, right? Just for the face of it, right? Or their face value. Now people want to see whether the brand and the celeb are actually a fit from a authenticity point of view, right? Sorry for that call, right, from a authenticity point of view. And that's what we have been trying to ensure all through our different campaigns, where we have not actually taken one celeb for full year, right. The fact that today's generation actually wants to see more and more associatable influencers and celebs to be endorsing the product that they actually stand for. And that's what the brand has done. So if you look at what we did with, let's say, Niharika or Kusha Kapila, or Sanjana Sangvi, right now Tapsi Pannu, so there have been series of influencers stroke celebs whom we have taken for their values. And let's say Tapsi is very authentic, very confident. That's what our product and brand stands for, right? Very authentic, very real, very comfortable, and very stylish, shoes at a very affordable price. So why not get them on board?
So, if you can help me with the how has the performance metrics of this campaign, how has it performed, and if you can help me with some business metrics as well, if it has, supported sales growth, store footfalls, consumer engagement.
Yeah. So I think this campaign is still on, but let's say our quarter one campaign, we did ballerina campaign with Sanjana Sangvi. It worked really well for us. All I can tell you is our ballerina campaign sales grew 3 times, right, of what it used to sell. So that's quite a staggering number. And of course, I mean, the insight and the product that came out was also brilliant. I mean, the fact that we reimagined a humble ballerina by giving very modern look and feel, but also ensuring that it is highly comfortable, right? We kind of reimagined the comfort that you can get in a ballerina at that great price point. And of course, with the right marketing input, it just flew off the shelf.
Okay. Okay. So we have also seen that Bata has expanded towards sneakers, casual wear, or premium segments through brands like Hush Puppies, Floats, or Power. So, what kind of consumer gap has pushed towards this shift? And also with that, I want to know, India is a very price sensitive market. So, how difficult is it to push this kind of a high value category without losing that traditional affordability positioning of Bata?
Right. So I think you're asking, two again parts to this question. First question that you're asking is that how are you driving this casualization and premiumization, right? That's your inherent question. I think, one of the things that we always, think India is one country. Yeah, it is one country, but it has got many different segments of consumers within that one country, right? So you have to ensure that you talk to relevant segments of consumers with the right proposition. Now, that's where, for us, Hush Puppy comes as a premium brand, where it does offer superior, experience in terms of comfort and visible comfort technology, with, premium material experience, uh, right, which consumers are willing to pay a price for, right? So I think that is one clear, positioning difference that we have in terms of Hush Puppies versus, let's say, Bata. Now, coming to your second question, in terms of how are we ensuring that we don't mix the whole positioning of Bata and Hush Puppies, I think it's very clear, right? I mean, the fact that today consumers are willing to pay that 100 rupees, 200 rupees, or 500 rupees extra for that, enhanced comfort or the product quality that you offer, that's quite visible all across, right? It's just that brand has to ensure that that value is packed in the proposition that is kept in front of the consumers, and they are willing to pay that price. So at any stage, something that we are very careful about, uh, that whatever proposition we are putting in front of the consumers, uh, from Bata's table, it has to be wow pricing, right? It might not be the cheapest. We don't want to be the cheapest, and that's our stated strategy. We don't want to be the cheapest. We don't want to be the cheapest in the market. We might be slightly higher versus local players or other local stores, but we will give you a great value, because the kind of comfort and quality and style that you will find, you will feel wow, that I'm okay to pay that little extra versus a small local player, right? So I think that is one thing that we kind of keep quite essential part of Bata's offering.
So you would say apart from the metro cities, tier 2, tier 3 are also adapting with the premium categories?
Oh, absolutely. I think one of the misnomers that we have as marketeers, that tier 2 3 cities don't buy premium products, right? But one would be amazed with kind of brand awareness, kind of knowledge, and how much discerning a tier 2 tier 3 city consumer is. And with the advent of e-commerce, right, today access of these brands is also there for all the shoppers. So even if a brand store is not there, they can get their best brand in their home through a e-commerce platform.
Because you spoke of e-commerce right now, I want to know how is Bata approaching the media mix today across digital and traditional platforms? Which platforms are you heavy on? And with that, I also want to understand if platforms like what role does platforms like Q-commerce or e-commerce play in the entire marketing funnel?
Okay, so Antara, you've become a power packed questions puncher, right? Two questions in one. So I think coming to your first question in our mix in terms of media mix, I think we have been constantly upping our digital spend mix. I remember till last year we were toying with the whole mix of around 35%, but now we are almost 65% digital, right? Basis the results that we see, and we've seen quite encouraging results. Our brand equity is, as I said, Bata is India's most trusted brand, and it's got the leading consideration in our brand tracks that we kind of track. It's been inching up. Post we have been kind of shifting our mix towards digital. What digital also provides us is kind of today have a very clear attribution analysis of where did we advertise and what is the exact ROI, or what kind of desired marketing outcomes we were able to get out of it. So I think that's to answer your first question. And I see a lot of effort going in further strengthening this, making it more robust in coming months, with you leverage of all the martech that we have kind of put into play. Coming to your second question on around e-commerce play, right? And uh, that has been one of our fastest growing channels for Bata India. And I think in last 6 months, we have further accelerated the growth of this channel, right? I mean, it's northwards of 30% plus now, and that we continue to drive northwards of that. Now, what is working there for us? I think consumers on e-com platform want speedy delivery, and they want more options. I think we are trying to work on both of these, right? So we are present across all the platforms. uh, we are ensuring that we have kind of listed thousand of our offline stores onto the omni channel framework. So consumers are getting more and more choices of products that are there in our stores. And also, because I have the largest footprint, they are able to get the shoe fastest, right? Because let's say any other brand might have, let's say in a city like Calcutta, might have two stores, but I would have 70 stores, right? So if you order from a marketplace, the data analytics kind of picks the box nearest to your house and ships it to your home, right? And that is where we are trying to experiment with some of the partners like Myntra. We are now working aggressively on Myntra now deliveries, where we are trying to supply stocks in just 3 hours.
You can help me with the comparison data on if online sales and the offline sales, which one is driving more, business impact for the brand? Is it still the offline sales?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we know that largely right now, chunk of our sale does come from retail, and that happens to be our big growth avenue still, right? I mean, let's say, for example, we have been working on a zero-based merchandising to drive our SSG and a better experience for the consumers, right? So that is on one front. Second front, we have been expanding our footprint of stores very aggressively. So last year we added around 100 odd stores. This year, pretty much by now, Jan, May, we have already added 100 stores, and most likely we will add 200 stores to our network northwards by end of December, right? So expansion plays a important role, and in next 3 to 4 years, we expect to add almost 1,000 stores to our network in smaller town and tiers as well, right? So yes, retail offline plays an important role because it does provide a physical touch and feel of the product and experience for the consumers. But at the same time, as I said, the e-com is our fastest growing channel and we continue to nurture it.
Bata has already a very well established brand recall. It has strong recall across generations. So, today in this market, would you still invest in long term brand building campaigns, or has the focus now shifted towards more performance marketing and, conversion driven strategies?
Yeah, Antara, I think this is a dilemma. I think that every boardroom discussion happens between the CFO and the CMO, right? How much to get the ROI for and how much for the long-term brand equity. Having said that, I think it is in Bata's case, I think we are very clear, right? As I said, that it is India's most trusted footwear brand, and that doesn't happens by just driving mid funnel and bottom funnel actions. You have to constantly keep getting new consumers to come in your funnel, and that means brand building, that means reaching out to new users, that means talking to the younger audience, that means showing them the latest collection, that means talking to them in their own language, and then if they like it, they will start converting, right? So I think that's where the answer lies, that you have to do both, and therefore a total funnel view of your marketing is quintessential. No brand can afford to not do the top funnel spends.
Got it. Also, for generations, Bata has been strongly associated with categories like school shoes. Correct. So, right now, does these legacy segments still remain key business drivers, or newer categories are emerging as the star performers?
See, I think, Antara, the way I put it is that uh, every shoe need is an important need, right?
Mm.
And why not catch the consumers when they are young, right? So I think school is something that is quite nostalgic to all of us. I think that is one space where the consumer need has also changed, and Bata has evolved with that. So from a humble tennis shoe, right, and a naughty boy, I think we have now a wide variety of shoes which are catering to different needs of school kids. And why not catch them young when you can? So I think it is an important leg, and we are running right now a campaign called Stronger Steps, Small Price, right? For exactly these consumers, where the fact that, these small, small, strong steps that these kids take in towards their career and life starts with small little price that you pay for the shoes that the mother pays, right? And that's where we want to catch her to say that, look, we are very affordable, we might be little costlier than your next door local cheap brand, but we provide your kids with superior comfort and quality for them to grow in their career, right? So I think that is one piece why miss that, right? On the other side, the fact that this is a brand where consumers can get from their school shoes to something to wear for their office, right? Or something to wear in their vacation, right? Is what this brand is. The promise is that you will find the latest styles at great, which provides you great comfort at affordable price. If that is the proposition, then we will sell to each age group for each feet.
Got it. You wouldn't be able to say any one category that has been the star performer for Bata?
Well, I think if you ask me, I think more and more we know that casualization as a trend has emerged. The fact that consumers are looking at, I call it these hybrid kind of solutions where they want to wear a formal looking shoe to office because they have to, but they want a comfort of a sneaker, right? So that's where we've launched a series called Office Sneaker Collection, which kind of, looks like a formal shoe, but gives you a, comfort of a sneaker, right? And that I think is doing really well for us. And that I think is a trend will continue. And we will keep giving more and more options season after season.
Got it. Also, Indian footwear market has now become highly cluttered and competitive with global brands, D2C players, and fashion fast levels. So, how would you say in this environment, Bata is differentiating itself while also maintaining, marketing efficiency and proper ROI?
Yeah, so Antara, remember, Indian footwear market is only 33% organized, right? This is a huge unorganized market. Now, I think there are two, three tailwinds that we have from government. I think this whole BIS effort, which kind of ensures that quality footwear, all the footwear has to have a certain minimum quality standard, right? Kind of helps us because that means that cheap quality imported stuff can't come in the country. Also, local players can't possibly sell a cheap quality footwear, right? So kind of it reduces the play of suboptimal or cheap product. So that's on one side. On the other side, I think the GST rationalization has also kind of reduced the gap between the unorganized market and organized player. So somewhere I think these are the two tailwinds which should help drive this movement from unorganized to organized in coming years and decades. So there is a lot of room for many organized players to start with. Having said that, coming to your second question of how is Bata trying to differentiate itself, I think, I think way back we were very clear what we want to stand for, and I think we are just trying to reinforce it again and again with all our offerings, uh, and ensure that through our campaigns we convey that to our consumers in a more relevant and modern way. The fact
Yeah.
that we want to give you very comfortable shoes with a great quality and style at affordable price, right? Now this is something that Bata always stood for, Antara. I mean, you would if you are from Calcutta, you would surely remember going to one of the Bata stores during Durga Puja or pre Durga Puja and ending up buying your stuff. uh, so that whole proposition is something that is quite close to our heart. What we are working towards is to ensure that we bring lot of collection which is uh, more globally conceptualized, keeping local in mind. So, what do I mean by that? What we've done is we've kind of created our center of excellence in Italy, where a lot of designs are kind of brought in, thinking what is the latest trend worldwide, uh, and then design for Indian feet, for Indian needs, and ensure that they are launched here. So I think that is another important piece that, Antara, as you see our collection in this year and coming seasons, you will start seeing more and more of that in our collection.
But so right now, what percentage of the total revenue is allotted to marketing? If you can give me a
Uh,
rough figure.
I I uh, I don't think this is something that, Antara, we disclose. We are a listed company, but we don't disclose the details of it. So I would refrain from that detail. But all
Okay.
I can tell you is that we have kept on increasing in last last 6 months. We have increased by 100 basis points, and structurally next 2 3 years we plan to actually increase it further.
So coming to the final part of the question, if you look back at the last financial year, how would you say that Bata's overall performance has been across business growth, consumer demand, or marketing effectiveness?
I think, Antara, if you see last year, uh, overall, I think we have been able to gain market share in a environment which was quite, tough, given all the volatility happening in the environment.
Yeah.
Uh, and I think what we've done is we have kind of created a very solid foundation for the brand to grow further. So what we've done behind the scenes is we have kind of almost upgraded almost 750 stores of ours with zero based merchandising, which kind of gives a much superior experience for the consumers, which also drives SSG for us, and which is what is helping us grow. We've just released our results yesterday, and we were growing at I think second quarter in a consecutive quarters we have grown, right? And that has come because of our superior experience that we have been driving, in the retail stores, and e-com being another strong engine of our growth, right?
So, looking ahead for the next year, financial year, what are the growth targets and the priorities for the brand? What will be the focus, and what kind of campaigns and marketing are you planning?
Yeah. So Antara, as we are listed company, we don't provide guidance, so I can't share the target and what we are kind of chasing. But what I can tell you is that what is quite clear is that there are two, three priorities that we are chasing. One is clearly ensuring that our existing consumers get far superior experience of our product, of our communication, and of our store experience, right? That's where
Yeah.
ZPM is something that we'll keep expanding. What we are also doing is we are pressing our store expansion network on a hyperdrive. So we will be, I think, adding double the stores that what we added last year. That will be the second lever that we'll be pressing very hard. The third lever that we are going to press, even harder is the e-com play, where we are accelerating the whole business, and of course, marketing plays an important role in driving demand for all these channels.